Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Sorry about that, a little late here. Talking everything on Night of Champions. I'm gonna have to be quiet here with things going on around here, but I did want to dive into my thoughts, at least the major things from this pay-per-view. And I think that Night of Champions, at least from my expectations, over-delivered to what I thought it would be. Um, I thought that, as I predicted, and as I thought Charlotte was going to be the new Divas champion. Um, the New Day retaining and everything. John Cena winning the United States Championship so he can have those weekly um, challenges and everything. And just so you know, people might be joining the show here at late night. So if you are watching live, thank you, and welcome to leave comments or be in the chat and let me know your thoughts. Your thoughts on Night of Champions. If you thought it was a good pay per view or a bad pay per view, I respect all and everyone's opinions on anything. So as I always say, join the conversation, and be part of the group. And I'm definitely willing to ask questions as well. So, anyways, it over delivered. I think that Sting and the Seth Rollins match much better than I thought it could have been, especially with his age. Sting even being in better shape than he was for his match at WrestleMania against Triple H. It seemed like, so I think he did well. I wonder though if that injury from him or whatever was real or kayfabe. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like it could have been real. If I had to guess, I would say it's real because of his age, but you never know. It could be just part of the storyline. It could be writing out, if you move forward into Raw and moving forward with Sting, you just write him off and maybe he comes back at around the road to WrestleMania. Challenges The Undertaker for one last match. He wants to give it one last go, be it at the show of shows, WrestleMania, especially him being dubbed the icon. Not just the vigilante as WWE wants to put him in that box, but the icon, and why not have the icon Sting at an iconic event being WrestleMania and finish his career against another legend and icon, The Undertaker, who's one of my favorite WWE superstars of all time, along with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, of course, and Chris Jericho. But speaking of Chris Jericho ended up being that mystery partner there with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns against the Wyatt family. As I said in my predictions here on this show, interesting ramble that I thought that it could be Kane. I predicted Samoa Joe, but I had a funny feeling that it'd be Kane, and my funny feeling was wrong. It was Chris Jericho, and it made sense. It made sense to have Chris Jericho back, bring some continuity with him having a feud with the Wyatts in the past, and also Chris Jericho being that part-timer that always likes to come back and do the job to the new people. And you kind of thought going into this match that the Wyatt family were going to win, no matter who the mystery partner was, and even more so when it was Chris Jericho or someone like Chris Jericho coming back. That them as the veterans and do the job to this rookie, at least rookie on the main roster, Braun Strowman, do the job and put him over. So I think it was a smart decision and best for business decision to have it being Chris Jericho rather than being a Samoa Joe or a Corbin or even a Kane, I guess, even if you think about it. Because I think I like what they did with Kane, having Kane now with Seth Rollins. Sorry about that. Having Kane with Seth Rollins going for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell. Now, I know some of you might not think this way or care, but to me it's kind of interesting and funny and cool that you have the characters of the Phenom The Undertaker, the quote-unquote Demon Kane, headlining or co-headlining in a way with their own matches at a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell. They kind of give a pay-per-view, and on top of it, being October, the month of fear, the month of that kind of stuff, being highlighted and whatever, the supernatural and whatnot. So, October being October, to me, the holiday season starts October 1st, ends January 1st. So, but thinking in WWE way, so you have Phenom Undertaker, the Demon Kane at Hell in a Cell in the month of October. That is irony and awesomeness. In my opinion, again, that's what I see. Some people might not have thought of that. Some people might not care. But to me, I thought that was kind of cool and kind of interesting. Now, if you're looking in a more serious way and in, how things are going to be booked and going forward with both feuds, well, obviously, the Undertaker Lesnar match ain't going, or is not going any more forward than Hell in a Cell. That's going to be their end all be all. That's going to be where it finishes. And that's, as I've said on other shows, whether it's talking WWE with Jay or Main Event Marks or wherever, that is where they should have their final match. That's where they should finish it all. And be there and all be all. Being in Hell in a Cell, having a gimmick match like that. Even with the Undertaker's age, I think he can go. He can go with Brock Lesnar. He can have even close to a 5-star match with Brock and finish the feud. And why not finish a feud with a match like Hell in a Cell at a pay-per-view of its gimmick name, So I think with all those stars aligning, so to speak, as I said in the past, that's where it should go. That's where they should have their final match. Not having it at WrestleMania, not even at Survivor Series, but at Hell in a Cell. And in the end, I'm going to be right, at least there. Now I'm going to have to pick a winner, but at least I was right in the thought process of it being and culminating, that's the word I'm looking for, their feud at Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I just like the way they're going. And now you have Charlotte Flair as the Divas Champion. I know a lot of people, as I've seen on Twitter, or as I've seen even before Night of Champions even started, think that Charlotte Flair should not be the one being the Divas Champion. Think that either AJ should have retained, or that Sasha Banks should have been in that spot at 1 here at Night of Champions. Have the same storyline and the same way of booking, but it's Sasha Banks. And I get it. And maybe even WWE understands it and thinks the same way as you. Maybe it's more of a long-term booking kind of thinking that, hey, did you ever think of this? You have Charlotte being the Divas Champion now, having a good title reign, whether it's to WrestleMania or just a Royal Rumble. Who knows? Who cares? And you either have that happen and have her defend against Sasha Banks at Night Champions, 2 members of the Horsewomen, so to speak, as well. Kind of, at least obviously on the women's side, main eventing WrestleMania. Obviously, they're not main eventing WrestleMania, but obviously, for the Divas main title, it's equivalent to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship for the men, in all honesty, because it's the main belt for the women's division, for the women wrestlers. I mean, as it should be, apropos name, should be the women's championship, not the Divas title. But I digress about that. But you either have that, or you have a situation like Randy Orton back in the past when he won the world title to be the youngest champion. And then the night after, they're having a celebration with Evolution and the whole thumbs down thing with Batista and Triple H and Batista turning on Randy Orton and stuff like that. Maybe instead of having it obviously exactly that same way, but in that same vein, since we're having teams of 3, you have Paige, maybe just one person, Paige turning on Charlotte the night after during the celebration, or during, or heck, even during the rematch, because there has to be a rematch, right? Rematch clause, Nikki Bella, come on now. So during the rematch, maybe turning on her, so she does this, so Charlotte gets disqualified, but still defends her title. So you get that rematch out of the way for Nikki Bella, write her off or whatever. Maybe if she is seriously injured, or injured at all, as people were speculating before Night of Champions, then you were able to write her off and move her on, go into a different storyline. But if not, and you don't want to do that, like I said, you'll have Paige turn on Charlotte. Then you have Paige and Charlotte having a feud, going to the Royal Rumble. Paige wins the title from Charlotte Flair, or just Charlotte as she is now on TV. And then you have Paige against Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, whether you still have the teams intact then or not. It's a great combination. And then Sasha Banks and all the fans of Sasha Banks, and I know a couple of them out there that I talk to on a regular basis on Twitter. And again, you can follow me at WWE_podcast, as you can see there in the banner in the corner there. But then you have Sasha Banks' moment there. Like I said, you put the title on Charlotte, and this was the perfect time to do so, to be able to launch her and make her credible within this Diva division and with the Divas Revolution. And not because she's Ric Flair's daughter, Not because doors might have opened easier for her because of that fact, or because of whatever other things you think are the reason that she got this championship. She got it the regular way, the way that it should be done, hard work, perseverance, and all that other stuff. So she earned it, okay? Woo. And that's my opinion. Not just as a Charlotte fan, but here as a podcast host. And, person, whatever. But that's my opinion. That's how I think. And again, as I was saying, you have Charlotte Flair, Charlotte being the Divas champion. You're building her more and more, making her more and more credible to the eyes of the WWE universe. You try to make her more credible and maybe even likable to those members of the WWE universe that do not like her at this moment. So you have a nice title reign, whether it's all the way to WrestleMania, whether it's a couple of months. I think it has to be more than 2 months. For sure, for me, that's minimum 2-month reign for Charlotte. She deserves that. She's earned it. She deserves it. And I know, like I said, other people thinking that Sasha should have been first. Sasha should have been the one. Take it off Nikki Bella. She's either not I was gonna say the more popular, but just the better one to pick. But again, I'm thinking more long term, and I'm thinking more of the way of having Charlotte the champion now, building Charlotte up, and then having Sasha Banks beat Charlotte. And you know what I mean by building Charlotte up. I know they've already been doing it since she's been on NXT, so I know what people are going to say there. The building up of Charlotte, what I mean is as a credible champion, as someone deserving of having this championship now. Some people already thought going into this pay-per-view that Nikki was going to retain because they thought that WWE thought that Charlotte isn't ready. That Charlotte won't make a good Divas champion. The fact that she's a face, you're wondering how a face is going to do as a champion, let alone the Divas champion, because we're so used to and enjoying hating or disliking Nikki Bella being the heel. But then again, a lot of people liking it because a lot of people like heels, and Nikki Bella's beautiful, so that too. So either way, they thought that was going to be the outcome because of those facts. But if you thought about it in the reverse way, and if you thought about it even while you were thinking that, then that in itself being the best reason why Charlotte did win, and as I said in the past, going into that champion should win. And obviously she did, so I don't know, hopefully I'm explaining this right, but I think it's the perfect time to have Charlotte champion, build it up as a credible champion, and then have something like that. Because you never know, maybe tomorrow night on Raw, Paige has done on her. People thought that was going to happen tonight, but maybe you have it tomorrow night. Who knows? But either way, that was a great match. Could have, for me, match of the night, actually, Charlotte and Nikki Bella, match of the night, even over both Seth Rollins matches. I think second would be Seth Rollins, John Cena, being match of the night candidate, but I think the main one was the women. I think they did steal the show. They had a couple of little blunders there in the match, but to be quite honest, no match on this card was perfect. They all had their little issues in their matches, but nothing too big, at least from me, my standpoint, in the Charlotte match, in the Charlotte Nikki Bella match, to say that it shouldn't be match of the night. So, like I said, I'm glad Charlotte won. And for people that were thinking that came and get involved during the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match and not after, all I have to say to you guys is that, that you have to have, at least in my opinion, you have to have, especially in this sort of situation, if you're going to book Seth Rollins here now being the man, you're going to have him in 2 matches in a row defending 2 of his titles, obviously, that he has, the United States and WWE World Championship. You would think logically that you would want to have both of those matches finish cleanly, whether he successfully defends it or not. However, it would have went down. Ended up him going 1-1, but in my opinion, I think that called for any interference from anybody, and that didn't happen. And the Kane came afterwards, holding Sheamus was going to cash in, struggling with the referee, and there at that split second, I thought, okay, this is where Kane's gonna come in, and Kane's gonna come back as Masked Kane. Now, if this was going to be his last hurrah, I quite frankly, honestly, wished he put on the Attitude Era Kane suit. The Attitude Era Kane get up and costume for his final run here for the nostalgia reason and even just being the Demon Kane. Bring the original Kane mask and tights or whatever else costume, as you could say, back. Now him just being Masked Kane at all is great, and that's what I wanted. But I think it would have been even, at least for me, perfect if it was that Attitude Era nostalgia. For me, obviously, as a '90s kid and as a fan of the Attitude Era, of being that being my childhood and my favorite era of WWE, would have been great if that was the case. If he had that costume from back then, but obviously that wasn't the case. And I should just be happy in general that he is back and that he is Masked Kane, and that maybe I don't see him getting the title from Seth Rollins, but I see him in this final run, however long it is, being something good, something great, something interesting, and something fun for me. I've always enjoyed Kane, and maybe at some point it is a nostalgic thing for me because of his time in the '90s or his heyday in the '90s and everything, and kind of how WWE, I guess, in a way, mistreated him being in the Authority and kind of breaking down Kane of less than what he used to be. Then again, he got to be on TV every week and part of the major storylines, but still, he wasn't the same Kane. He wasn't the Kane that I remember, that I grew up with, that I loved in a way sometimes. But I mean, just think about it. I can still remember when he debuted. There at the pay-per-view, and I stared down with his brother, The Undertaker. So it's just nice to have Masked Kane back, and I think this match or matches that he's gonna have, the feud to Seth Rollins is gonna be pretty good. I don't think he's gonna be winning the title. If he did, that'd be cool, but I don't see it happening. I'm not gonna predict that to happen, to be quite honest. If anything, I'd maybe be better to have Sting be the. If you were gonna have Kane have another title reign, then you should have had Sting win tonight. Is all I'm saying. So in that breath, having both be the whole title. Because then when Sting goes to the Hall of Fame, WWE can say Sting is a former WWE World Champion. Because, they're not going to bring up him being former TNA champion with the feud with WCW, even though they won the war. Bringing that up. I mean, heck, look at he brought that up at all. But they had to because that's all they had. With this past, because like I said, they don't even. It's like TNA doesn't exist to them. So, being WWE and that kind of thinking, maybe they would have Sting win the title here tonight or at some point. And this one being the best time to do it, I don't really see down the line how he gets back in the title picture. So if you're just going to throw him into the feud, have him for the title for Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins have a very bad night, lose both of his titles in the same night in a row, and then you have something with him, Triple H, blow up on Raw in an opening segment or something. Let's say the opening segment would have been with the Authority out there talking about Night of Champions and Seth Rollins coming out there interrupting them and then getting in an argument and teasing it more between them. Triple H. Triple H and Seth Rollins, and you go forward because if you are going to have that match, it's not going to have a WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the picture. It is going to be Triple H and Seth Rollins one-on-one, and I still think that's going to happen in Survivor Series. Still going with that thought process, but back on Night of Champions, like I said, better than I thought. Definitely give it high marks, and I'm liking how it's going to go into Hell in a Cell. You got to build up these quote-unquote lesser pay-per-views more than I have. To be quite honest, I'm partially happy that John Cena won the United States Championship because now he can have his U.S. Open champion or U.S. Open challenges on Monday Night Raw, giving mid-carders a chance, giving them airtime. To be quite honest, for some of them, especially maybe if Zack Ryder or Heath Slater, superstars like that, coming out and challenging the title. I mean, John Cena's gonna win, but at least they get a chance there. And maybe sometimes they even are technically main eventing a Raw. because John Cena might even want to have that one of his US Open challenges thing to main event the show. Who knows? So I always like those. I've enjoyed him. I've enjoyed him when he first had his US title reign. I'm going to SummerSlam. I think it's gonna come down to a point where somebody from NXT is gonna come up to the main roster and defeat him and they'll book it from there because that's just the best way to do it and the best way to put a finish to that streak. Having a true young person, maybe a Finn Balor, maybe John Cena holds this U.S. title longer than most think. And then when Finn comes to the main roster, whether it be after WrestleMania or before, then you have John Cena drop that U.S. Championship, but not sooner. But I think it's going to be very interesting, and looking forward to seeing how they do it, because there's a lot of interest, at least for me, on how Monday Night Raw is going to be tomorrow night. With Seth Rollins going 1-1, is he going to go directly for that rematch for the United States title, or if he's just going to blow it off and focus on him still having the world title? And with the Sheamus almost cash in, Charlotte being the new Divas champion, the Paige situation, and the Dudley Boys and their chase for the tag team titles, I still think they're going to win it. Maybe even at TLC. You finish the year strong. Apologize there. You finish the year strong. You have the Dudley Boys win the titles at TLC. That would be a perfect moment for them. And they can win their 10th tag team title and go from there. But anyway, back to Night of Champions. I think it was great. Overexceeded my expectations. Hopefully had some people on here to share their thoughts, but for me, myself, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was very well done, very well booked, and I know there's going to be people out there that didn't like it, and I respect that. I'm welcome to let me know in the comments what you thought of Night of Champions, and if you did dislike it, let me know why your true reasonings of why you thought it was a bad show or whatever, not just because a certain superstar lost or a certain superstar, i.e. John Cena, won. Because some of those John Cena haters out there that I actually talk to, I respect and actually are friends with because they give me realistic and somewhat better reasons of why they dislike John Cena and some of the things that they might agree with me. On the other end, they're at least respectful in that way, and also understanding of both sides of the coin of thinking the John Cena topic at hand, really. So, but no, I seriously think that this pay-per-view was a lot better than most thought it would be. I mean, I've started to like Night of Champions more and more. It being Night of Champions, every title being defended, whether it's successfully defended or not, it's just a great pay-per-view. But if I'm being honest here, it's called Night of Champions. And it should be called Night of Champions for a reason. You have your titles defended. No match on that card. And I mean no match. Even the pre-show. No match on that card. Should not be on that card unless it's for a championship. You know how that works? You have the WWE. You have enough titles. And not just from the main roster, but you can even throw in some NXT ones. That'll fill your show up. I mean, heck, with your show already, with your pay-per-views, they run early anyways, so maybe you just book some other matches longer. WWE World Heavyweight Championship, United States Championship, the IC Championship, the WWE Divas Championship, okay, the WWE Tag Team Championships, you have the NXT Tag Team Championships, NXT title, women's title, okay. You have 8 total championships that you can defend that can fill out your Night of Champions pay-per-view along with other promos or opening segments or whatever you want to add in, plus what it seems like a halftime report for these pay-per-views. But besides that, I think, no, that's just my thought. I mean, seriously, it's called Night of Champions for a reason. There should not be, even though the matches that were non-title matches were actually good. I mean, Comic Wasteland actually getting the win there. You know, WWE throwing them a bone in a way, in my opinion. With the win there in the pre-show, even the Ziggler, excuse me, Ziggler Rusev match is pretty good in my opinion. But even still, it's called Night of Champions. Each match should be a title match of some way, whether it's a main roster title or NXT title. You can have it all work together. It's still under the umbrella of WWE, right? So come on, gotta think a little bit, you know. I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's not a big issue, you know. To be quite honest, I'm nitpicking at something that maybe is not the bigger issue, but it's still something that kind of irks me sometimes. That's how it should be. Because if they did it that way, and if they truly had it Night of Champions, this pay-per-view could even get up to, if not equal to, maybe the four main pay-per-views, in my opinion, in my eyes. Because to me already, Money in the Bank is already growing fast enough, superior enough for it to knock off Survivor Series and be in the four major pay-per-views. And you could have Night of Champions on its coattails, even on Survivor Series coattails, to be number 5 or 6 of the top pay-per-views on WWE. But then again, that's another issue. All pay-per-views should matter. All pay-per-views should be interesting. As WWE likes to say, anything can happen in WWE. You should build up each and every one of your pay-per-views as they did try to do for Battleground with having Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But if we do want to talk about specialized and better pay-per-views, then I really think if they didn't do Night of Champions the way I was thinking of doing it, they should have done it from the start. Well, yeah, from the start, back when NXT wasn't the way NXT is now, but still, all titles are defended, and those are the only matches you have. Because in my opinion, I don't think there is a reason that you could say that all those titles cannot be defended and not be able to fill up that card. I gave you all the championships. I think I did. If I missed one, I apologize. But that's eight to 10 championships for 8 to 10 matches for a 3-hour pay-per-view. That will definitely fill your card. For a pay-per-view called Night of Champions. Just saying. Just my opinion, obviously. So, but like I said again, I think the viewers that I see that have been here live, a couple of them actually. Thank you. Much appreciated. To smash that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, as I always say, and share this video with friends, family, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and spread the word of Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Maybe sometime in the future I'll have more quote-unquote bells and whistles, theme songs to open the show and end the show, maybe an intro and outro, and some other things, maybe background besides my wall here and the back of my couch. But it is what it is, right? So, but I guess since my guests have not arrived yet, maybe I'll talk for a little bit longer. Maybe some other WWE thoughts. I know a lot of people were thinking that Daniel Bryan or The Rock would be mystery partners. I don't know. I mean, I could kind of see Daniel Bryan, but I still have a feeling. And it's just me, but I still think that he shouldn't have to retire. I don't think he's going to be getting back in the WWE ring and whatever. I don't. Oh, and another thing I wanted to bring up that I brought up on Talking WWE earlier this evening. The issue with security and it being ironically interesting that it's the Shield members or the former Shield, you know, what used to be the Shield, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, but these have these quote-unquote fan attacks or instances. I don't know if it's Shield fans, Shield haters, sometimes it's a situation where it's just either a fan of that said wrestler or the Shield in itself wanting them to be back together. Who knows? And that they're just upset, they're broken up, and all this other stuff and whatnot. You never know. You never know. But whether it's intention to hurt or just intention to do something for a cause. Like I said, the cause of wanting the Shield back together, whatever. Still not right, and a very high oversight in WWE, and to be quite honest, still kind of a black eye to WWE, and maybe even more so the security of said arenas. Because really, whether the fan's intention was not to harm or to harm, whatever, you still treat it with that most seriousness, and I just hope that WWE and the security learn from it at least. You move on from those incidents, but you learn from them, and you make sure or try not for it not to happen again. Because that's what WWE's supposed to do, protect their talent. And that's what the security is supposed to do, to protect the people in the ring, protect people in general. That's, and but we'll see. I just wanted to bring that up just quickly there about that, about my thoughts on that, with the whole instances with Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. I don't know if I have any other thoughts there on Night of Champions. Like I said, I think it was a very, very good pay-per-view. Better than I thought it would be. One of those pay-per-views that rose to my expectations. Sorry about that little silence there. I was actually reading something. Nothing WWE, something different. But anyways, but yeah, like I said, Monday Night Raw should be very interesting, seeing how things unfold from Night of Champions. The backlash, so to speak. But yeah, I gave all my thoughts on the pay-per-view. Now I'm just going into general WWE talk and thoughts on things. And I don't know. I still have an idea. I still have the feeling that for WrestleMania, they're still gonna go with the Shield triple threat. They should have Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns for the WWE World Title. Now, if they keep on track for that, that makes me think that Dean Ambrose will be winning the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns just being the title picture, period, and Seth Rollins still being the champion. Or Dean Ambrose wins the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins loses the WWE World Heavyweight Championship to Roman Reigns at Fastlane to have then the rematch at WrestleMania between those two. But then you also have to have the Royal Rumble winner getting a title match at WrestleMania. That's how that works. So you have a triple threat. I also still think you're going to get The Undertaker versus Sting. Maybe even a combination with The Rock and Triple H at WrestleMania. I don't see Ronda Rousey being in a match. I think she will be allowed to be there for WrestleMania. Maybe be in The Rock's corner with no altercation with Stephanie McMahon. But kind of like that. You have the Rock versus Triple H. Ronda Rousey being in The Rock's corner. And Stephanie McMahon being in Triple H's corner. Some of that. So I think those are going to be the three main matches for WrestleMania 32. And I think those three matches alone will be able to sell to the arena and be able to break that attendance record that they want to break. Also if you can get a star-studded lineup for the Hall of Fame, maybe Owen Hart. The Owen Hart DVD is coming out soon, and I think with anything when well, In this case, obviously, he's not. I was gonna say in any case when a former superstar or something comes back, like Ultimate Warrior did with the video game or Sting, usually it means that same year that they're gonna go into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, with Owen passing many years ago, he's not coming back. But I think his his legacy is coming back. His for the WWE fans, the memory of him coming back more and more. Not that it ever left most of us, but I'm just saying. At least on WWE TV, it's coming back. I think it would be a great time for him to be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's justly overdue. He should have been in years ago. And I know WWE's trying to respect Martha Hart, the widow of Owen Hart. But in my honest opinion, the way she's been handling things, especially with this DVD, handcuffing the WWE, and so to speak, or even the people that are making the movie and the DVD and whatever. Bret Hart even commented it in an interview about how he didn't like how things were done in the questions he was even asked for the DVD, in his interview, kind of watered down. But as much as WWE's trying to respect Martha, honestly, if they wanted to, they could put Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame, even without her blessing. Now, I would rather not it go down that way. I'd rather it go in the way that everything is understood and Martha's on board with it. But hey, WWE's WWE. If they think it's best for business, or they think they want to have Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame this year for whatever reason, then that's their choice. I mean, it's their Hall of Fame. Owen Hart was part of them, and so they could do it that way. Now, could they be able to go around that legally? I don't know. But again, I don't think that's a legal issue. That's just between WWE and Martha Hart. That's more of a he said, she said, their situation, can't get contested sort of situation, I guess, between WWE and Martha Hart. So, but like I said, I'd rather it be in a situation where Martha finally understood and finally gave the okay for WWE to put her late husband in the Hall of Fame. Like I said, it's just over to you. And think about it, you're also trying to get a bunch of people in the stadium for WrestleMania 32, break that attendance record. Well, what better way, even, to be quite honest, than to have Owen Hart being put into the WWE Hall of Fame? Obviously, the night before WrestleMania, but for WrestleMania during that weekend. And then being honored again, obviously, during WrestleMania. And they always obviously honor that year's class, during the pay per view. So, and that's all I want to talk about. I think everybody that watched live, that should watch later, definitely leave a like. And like I said, subscribe and join the conversation. I also have an NFL podcast that I do once a week, usually maybe Wednesdays or Thursday nights. So catch that up. I do predictions for each and every week and go over last week's ball games and go from there. So thank you for watching. Have a great week. Enjoy Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. And I'll catch you in the next video talking NFL. Take care.